My name is K. Ramachandran. Currently, I work as Senior Advisor, Unit for International Cooperation, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, New Delhi. The topic I have today is importance of policy in education and the fundamental principles guiding the National Education Policy 2020. Let me take the first part. What is the importance of a policy in the field of education? A policy normally gives a direction for education development in the country, say, for the next 10 years, next 20 years, and so on. Policy sets a vision. For instance, the National Policy on Education 2020 envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India into an equitable, vibrant knowledge society by providing quality education to all, thereby making India a knowledge superpower. That is the overall vision. So a policy provides a vision based on which we can formulate programmatic interventions to fulfill the vision, at the same time also to meet the education sector development programs in the country. The National Education Policy 2020 has certain fundamental principles guiding it. Number one, for instance, the policy seeks to recognize, identify, and foster the unique capabilities of each student so that we can nurture and foster her or his holistic development. The term holistic development is very important. I'll come back to that later. The second term, which is very important for all of us, is the term flexibility. The NEP 2020 envisages flexibility in paths of learning, in choice of programs and courses, so that the education can be tuned to the interest and talent of each student. So this is the second principle guiding the policy. The third principle is what we call honoring student diversity. India is a country of tremendous diversity in terms of socio-economic status, in terms of culture, in terms of language, and so on. And therefore, the kind of students we get also would be of tremendous diversity. Many of them could be at the undergraduate, postgraduate level, first generation learners. How do we honor this diversity? Let me get back to the term holistic development. What do we mean by this term, holistic education? It simply means an education program that would help develop all capacities of human beings. For example, intellectual development or intellectual capacities, physical capacities, social development, emotional development, aesthetic development, ethical practices, and moral development, all in an integrative form. To have this integrated approach, therefore, will require exposure of students to or building capacities across variety of disciplines like arts, humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, vocational education, performing and visual arts, and so on. That would be what you call a multidisciplinary education approach. So to promote holistic development in the higher education sector, two quick actions. Number one, moving higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary institutions. And the word large is also important. In India, we have a large number of standalone institutions with the enrollment in many cases less than 1,000 and even less than 500. How do we move these single stream higher education institutions to a multidisciplinary institution? That becomes a transformative initiative, number one, for us. Second, can we offer in our universities and colleges multidisciplinary programs? That means a person may major in physics, maybe the person may offer a minor or opt for a minor in music, or a visual art, or history, or economics. That means there is no clear-cut demarcation between arts, sciences, vocational field, and so on. That means the boundary between different areas of knowledge can be removed and get an integrated holistic education. Students are given options to choose courses or programs of study according to their interests and talents. And that is possible only we offer what you call multidisciplinary education. Gradually, all undergraduate programs in the country will move towards a multidisciplinary education approach, including those related to professional education, vocational education, and so on. So therefore, many of these professional, technical, and vocational education programs also will have this approach, what we call a multidisciplinary approach to education. So this is a transformative initiative we envisage through the implementation of the National Education Policy 2020. Third, the National Education Policy 2020 envisages what we call institutional restructuring and consolidation. What do we mean by this? All higher education institutions in the country would be categorized into three groups. Number one, those which are referred to research-intensive university. They will offer high-quality research programs in addition to high-quality teaching. That means the focus will be on both high-quality research and teaching. This will be one set of higher education institutions. Second, teaching-intensive universities. They will focus more on high-quality teaching, but at the same time, they will also do significant research. This is a second category. The third category belongs to what is referred to as autonomous colleges or constituent colleges, which can award undergraduate degrees. But they will also, if they accept four-year undergraduate program, will also have research projects done by the students. These are the three categories of institutions we propose to have during the next 10 years. Research-intensive universities, teaching-intensive universities, autonomous colleges, or constituent colleges, which will award undergraduate degrees. Gradually through this, the affiliating system followed by the current universities will go away. It means many of them would become, the colleges affiliated now, would become what is referred to as autonomous colleges or constituent colleges, which would be an integral part of the university. So this is what we call institutional restructuring and consolidation. The fourth aspect, if you really want to improve the quality of education, make it multidisciplinary approach to education, we will need to attempt revamping of curriculum, including pedagogy and assessment program. Therefore, we will need to undertake curricular revision. Learning content should be revised. Pedagogical approaches should be made in tune with the revised curricular structure, and assessment that would help in moving towards, in terms of the multidisciplinary approach. This is what we call moving towards academic excellence. Now, academic excellence, as I indicated earlier, include three things. Number one, enhancing the relevance of learning contents. This is one aspect. The syllabi has to be revised, and the contents related to these must be improved. Second element of academic excellence is what is referred to as teaching excellence. How can we ensure that the teaching and learning process is improved to make it excellent in terms of imparting relevant knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values among all our students? Third element of academic excellence is, as I indicated earlier, improving the assessment methodologies and procedures. The policy talks about three approaches to assessment. Number one, assessment of learning. That means assessment of learning outcomes, expected learning outcomes. Sometimes we call summative assessment. This is one aspect that helps students to move towards certification and so on, improve learning process, and see how we can move forward. The second element is what we call assessment for learning. Teachers assess learning to improve their own teaching methodologies, instructional strategies, pace, styles, and so on. This is essentially what is referred to as formative assessment. In fact, the emphasis now will be more and more on formative assessment. The next element is what we call assessment as learning. After assessment, students have what you call self-assessment strategy. Can they make self-corrections? Can they do self-monitoring of expected learning outcomes and make corrections required to enhance learning? That means the students themselves will use assessment to improve learning processes. That is assessment as learning. All these are part of what we call academic excellence. The next element of policy is faculty as the main part of learning process. Faculty at the heart of learning process. It means faculty excellence is something we aim at. This would need high quality induction programs for university and college faculty, high quality refresher program for the existing 1.5 million faculty in universities and colleges, for their continuous professional learning and development. And through that, we can bring about faculty excellence for three core functions. Number one, what we call teaching excellence, scholarship, and so on. Including next one, excellence in research, teaching, and scholarship. So one important aspect of policy, therefore, is can we enhance the quality of research being done by Indian universities through the creation of the National Research Foundation, which will fund peer-reviewed research proposals and programs proposed to be undertaken by universities, mainly universities and faculty of universities and students. So therefore, the next transformative initiative relates to enhancing quality of research or catalyzing quality research and innovations. This is again a transformative initiative. The next transformative initiative we are talking about is, again, in the context of academic excellence, is utilizing technology. That means leveraging technological and digital technologies in education for 3-4 purposes. Number one, enhancing access to quality education. Number one is this. Second, improving the quality of teaching and learning process in universities and colleges and other higher education institutions. Third, can we leverage technology for continuous professional learning and development of our faculty in universities and colleges? Fourth, can we use technology to improve educational planning and administration at all levels of education, including higher education management system? Next transformative initiative in this context is changing the regulatory system of higher education. We now have a single body regulating the higher education system. Can we ensure that the higher education system have a body for regulatory functions, a separate body, maybe named as Higher Education Regulatory Authority. Second, a body for standard setting in higher education, a separate body for standard setting, referred to as General Education Council. The third body, as we have now, for assessment and accreditation of higher education institutions. What is being done by NAC? Can NAC be a meta-accreditation body, which may have many more bodies to accredit, and NAC plays the role of a meta-accreditation coordination body. Last, a body for financing higher education. All together, all these four, that is regulatory body, standard setting body, accreditation body, financing body, under an umbrella organization called the Higher Education Commission of India. This is considered to be another transformative initiative. What the policy proposed is, while regulating higher education, we want a system that is simple but tight, that not too many indicators, take a few indicators to accredit a body, regulate a body, but enforce it tightly. So that's the kind of thing we are talking, that this system will help develop quality education institutions. And in this context, technology is an important aspect as well. The next element in the context is policy is based on what you call equity and inclusion in all higher education institutions and so on. So equity and inclusion, I consider inclusion as providing access to success, not just access to facilities, and ensuring retention. Can we ensure that all enrolled students in the country will have access to success? They would attain the expected learning outcomes in the case of all students. So equity and inclusion as cornerstone of the National Education Policy 2020. Next in the case is, can we ensure what we call the support system for all colleges and universities, a quality learning environment to ensure a conducive learning environment for, a support system for students, how we can do it. So an important emphasis of the policy is on what is referred to this as improving the quality of learning environment and support systems, including the healthcare systems for students and faculty. Can we attempt that? Last but not least, I talked about this. When we say continuous professional development of faculty, I normally mention 5-6 areas of action. Number one, that training is important, as we do through this program. But in addition to that, can we have faculty exposed to good lectures by experts in the field on variety of disciplinary areas, and so on. Number two, can we have demonstration lessons, demonstration teaching for all faculty members, subject related, subject specific, and so on. Third, we may have virtual or in-person subject specific groups which can meet virtually or in person once a month to discuss issues related to subject areas and so on. Next, can we provide opportunities to faculty to have action research on pedagogy, curricular contents, learning assessment, and so on? Can we aim at that? Next, can we ensure opportunities for faculty to participate in state level, university level, national level seminars, conferences, and so on? That also contributes to faculty learning and development. And lastly, even international exposure to faculty, participating short-term programs abroad, customized program on research and development, and can we do it? And that is one element. Since I have limited time, I'm not trying to say that the policy, when implemented totally, will help enhance student excellence, students capable of demonstrating the graduate attributes expected, the learning outcomes defined for all stages of education. Number one, this. Contribute to achieving academic excellence through improvement of learning contents, teaching, assessment practices. 3, achieving teaching excellence through the kind of programs we talked about. 4, achieving excellence in research and scholarship. 5, achieving staff excellence, non-academic staff in university. Can we achieve that? Next, can we give opportunities to international experience for our students and faculty? Faculty exchange program, student exchange program, and so on. Next, very important, as policy indicates, achieving excellence or quality in university leadership, college leadership, and management. You may ask me a question, what is the difference between leadership and management? A leader is one who sets a vision for your college or university, sets directions for actions during the next 10 years and so on, 15 years, 20 years. And through this, can we aim at reaching a gross enrollment ratio in higher education for the age group 18 to 23 years, 50% by 2030? That is a target. Can we reach that? So excellence in governance and leadership is extremely important thing. Management. A manager controls resources, deploys team to ensure that the proposed vision of a university is enhanced, achieved. And that becomes the role of a manager. To end my discussion, I would say, what is proposed is to implement these transformative initiatives during the next 10 years to ensure high quality higher education to make India a global knowledge superpower during the next few years to reach the overall vision of the National Education Policy 2020. And in this, faculty of colleges and universities have a pivotal role. And that is why policy says teachers and faculty at the heart of the learning process. So I end by saying, next few years, we invest more in faculty, more in continuous professional learning and development of faculty in each of our higher education institutions to move towards a multidisciplinary higher education institution, to implement a multidisciplinary program, to improve leadership at all levels, to enhance governance management, and these are all part and parcel of the NEP 2020. I stop at this stage. Thank you very much for your kind attention.